Hi cadets! Do you guys know the song Limang Tinapay at Dalawang Isda? That song is actually a story from the Bible. And it is a story about one of the great miracles of Jesus Christ. A long time ago, Jesus had sent the 12 disciples out into the country and gave them the power to heal sick people and tell others about God's love. When the disciples returned, they met with Jesus to tell him about all the people they talked with and had healed. They were all very excited to tell Jesus about their adventures. But the problem was, people followed the disciples so they could find Jesus. They had seen the miracle he had done and wanted to see more. But Jesus knew the disciples wanted to talk to him. They hadn't even had a chance to eat yet. So he said to them, "Come with me, and we will find a quiet place to talk and to get some rest." So they went away by themselves in a boat to a quiet place. But many people saw them leaving and recognized them and ran after them on land. The boat Jesus and the disciples were in slowed down because of the wind. So the people actually got to the other side of the shore before them. When Jesus and disciples arrived, they noticed that the large crowd. Jesus felt love for these people because he knew they needed a teacher and someone to believe. He knew that the disciples would understand, so he began teaching the large crowd and many things. It was starting to get late in the day, and none of the people had supper yet. The disciple came to Jesus and said, "There is no food around here, and it's already getting late. Maybe we should send the people away so we can go to the surrounding towns and get themselves something to eat." But Jesus replied, "You give them something to eat." The disciples didn't think that they understood Jesus right and said, "We can't feed all these people. We would have to work almost a year to pay for all the food." While the disciples were talking to Jesus, one of the disciples named Andrew noticed a small boy walking by with a small lunch. He stopped the boy and asked him what he had. He quickly ran over where the disciples were talking to Jesus and said, "Here is a boy with 5 small loaves of bread and 2 small fish. But how far will they go among so many people?" Jesus smiled and said, "Ask everyone to sit down." There was lots of grass to sit on, so everyone was seated, all 5,000 of them. After everyone was seated, Jesus took the loaves of bread and thanked God for it. Then the disciple passed around the bread, and everyone could take as much as they wanted. And he did the same with the fish. And after everyone was full, Jesus asked the disciples to gather all the food that was left over so nothing would be wasted. After they gathered all the basket of food, they counted them out. There were 12 baskets still full with some bread and fishes for the little boy's small lunch. His small lunch probably barely filled one of the baskets before Jesus touched it, and that is a miracle. After people realized what had happened, they said to each other, "This must be an important person sent from God." In this story, we could learn about Jesus' compassion for his people, on how miraculously fed 5,000 people with just 5 loaves of bread and 2 pieces of fish. And through this story, we could also learn that he doesn't just bless us, but he also uses us to bless others as well. on how he made the little boy his instrument to be used to feed the 5,000. He encouraged the little boy to help the crowd through the 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. How great would it be for that child knowing he became God's instrument to feed 5,000 people? For truly God's blessings are abundant to all of us, and His love endures forever. Praise the Lord.